Right, children. So today we're gonna discuss about operating system, computer operating systems. So last day we discussed about computer hardware. So today is about software initially. So when you consider software, there are two types. One is system software, the other one is application software. So normally we refer system software as the software which we use to control and maintain the computer. Computer maintain කරන්න සහ control කරන්න පාවිච්චි කරනකට අපි කියනවා system softwares කියලා. So if we just consider the characteristics of them, they are close to the system. So system means the hardware. Normally all the system softwares are very closely work with hardware. Then fast in speed. They are speed, right? Then difficult to design. So normally operating systems and those kind of system softwares, those are somewhat difficult to design because you need a good knowledge about how hardware works and you have to program for hardware. So then the designing is somewhat difficult. Again, difficult to understand the coding and all the things. Less interactive. The meaning of that is, so normally those are designed to develop, use with hardware. So interaction with the user is somewhat less. Then, so difficult to manipulate and all those things are there, right? So if we take application softwares, so those are totally designed to accomplish user specific task. User la tona දේවල් කරගන්න තමයි system softwares develop වෙන්නේ. So as you are aware, Office, Photoshop, browsers, VLC player, then those things are called as application software. So PDF readers. So all these things are developed for specific purpose, and user specific, to perform user specific task. Users la tona කරන දේවල් කරගන්න. So those are called as system software. Sorry, application software. So examples: student record softwares, income tax softwares, right? So like this: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, browsers. So these are special task softwares. That means they are developed for special organization. So these are general purpose softwares: Excel, PowerPoint, those things, right? Then more closer to the user, easy to design, slow in speed. That is because that interact with user always, right? So those features are there. So those are just theories, right? Then children, if we just consider our operating system, that is the main interface behind that is the interface between computer and the computer user and the computer hardware. Right. Interface between the computer user and the computer hardware. And again, so it provides file management, input-output control, and process management like that. It provides some services. We're going to discuss about that services later. And some examples are Windows 10, Windows 7, Ubuntu, Apple OS. So those things are examples for operating systems. As a definition, we can say an operating system is a program that acts as an interface between the user and the computer hardware and control the execution of all kind of programs. That's the definition. So that means the operating system is a software, the main software, which provide the interface to control the computer. So it gives you desktop, it gives you start menu, taskbar, menus, then this is called Windows Explorer, right? Start menu, and this one is called Windows Explorer, right? This one. So all these features are provided by operating system. Right. So this is called Windows Explorer. It allows us to show, create files, view files, download, rename, delete files like that. File operations are provided with this Windows Explorer window. Again, saving files, right? So start menu is there. You can open programs, and control panel is there. Control the computer. This control panel. So all these are separate softwares which are provided with the operating system, right? So that is why it is called as the interface between the user and the computer hardware, because all these things are used to control computer hardware. So if we take the Windows Explorer, we are totally accessing the hardware. Let's see. All these folders have files. All these files are set of bit streams, right? A stream of bits which are embedded with the hardware. So what operating system going to do, that OS going to show us that with an icon. See, all the files are given with icons. So all these are icons, right? But actually those are bit streams which are written into hardware. මේ hard disk එක තුලේ magnetic wave එකක් විදිහට store වෙලා තියෙන bit stream එකක් තමයි වෙන්නන්නේ මේ file එකක් විදිහට, මේ folder එකක් විදිහට. Right? So that is why it is called as the interface between the user and the hardware. Again, it provides execution of all the other software. So if I want to open Microsoft Word, then I have to go through the start menu, find Word, and then I can open that. Up to that, operating system facilitate to execute this program. මේ Word කියන එක run වෙන්න OS එකෙන් තමයි අවශ්‍ය පහසුකම් ටික හදලා දෙන්නේ. අපි Zoom එක run වෙන්න operating system එකෙන් තමයි අවශ්‍ය පහසුකම් ටික හදලා දෙන්නේ. එයා තමයි මේ ටික යවන්නේ මේ internet එක through. Internet connection එක හදලා දෙන්නේ. මේවා කරන්නේ OS එකෙන්. So that is why it is called as the control the execution of the all kind of programs. මෙයා user ලාට interface එකක් හදලා දෙනවා වගේම software වලට run වෙන platform එකක් හදලා දෙනවා. හරිද? Okay. Then if we take this diagram, normally we have hardware. Not we actually. The computer has hardware. Then at the top of the hardware, softwares are installed. So the main software is operating system. It's the main part of this. So the operating system can access directly access the hardware. So all the other softwares, other system softwares such as virus guards, cleaners, and those things also called as system softwares. Those things also have to access hardware through the operating system. Application softwares like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Photoshop, browsers, all these things, they also have to access hardware through the operating system. I'll show you an example. I'm going to open Word. And if I type something here, now children, I want to save this one. So I'm going to File, Save As. From now, the saving process will facilitate by the operating system. ඔයාලා ළමයි Word, the Excel, the ඕනම software එකක් save කරන්න ගියාම මේ click කරපු ගමන්ම මේ open වෙන folder එකක් තියෙනවනේ. මේ open වෙන folder එක මෙන්න මේ කොටස මෙන්න මේ window එක. මේ window එක ළමයි හදලා දෙන්නේ OS එකෙන්. ඔයාලා මොන software එකේ save කරන්න ගියත් software එක කොහොම වුණත් අවසානයේ save කියන දේ click කරපු ගමන් මොකද වෙන්නේ? open වෙන්නේ මේ window එක. මේ window එක OS එකේ ගහලා. That is because by saving, what we're going to do, we are going to access computer hardware. So then operating system allow this software to do that. So මේ Word වලට hardware access කරන්න බෑ තනියම. ඒ opportunity හදලා දෙන්නේ operating system එකේ. Right. Here. So every time this has to access hardware, every other application has to access hardware through operating system. So there are some other system softwares like language translators, virus guards, right? Some copying utilities, we call them utility software. අපි copy කරනවා නම් process එක speed කරන්න අපිට තියෙනවා softwares. So those are utility software. Again, cleaners, C cleaner, that's a deleting software. You can very easily delete files. They normally what they do, they enhance the operating system activities, right? Okay, everyone. So these are the features or the tasks performed by operating system: memory management, process management, device management, file management. Children, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right, children. So then we're going to briefly discuss what memory management is like that, and again we're going to we're going to discuss in these topics in detail, right? Okay. All right, everyone. So then memory management. So normally what memory management means, you know that the main memory of the computer is the RAM, right? So you can see the task performed by operating system here. Keep tracks of primary memory. In multi-programming, the OS decides which program will get memory when and how much, right? Allocate the memory when process requests to do. Deallocate the memory. So like that, there are several tasks to perform in memory management. So we'll have a brief understanding about memory management. Sorry. Okay, everyone. Right. So now in the computer, if we consider the hardware, we have CPU, and we have RAM, and then the hard disk. Again, we have input output devices. So all the data, when we just going to run a program, initially all the data will be stored here in the hard disk, and from the hard disk they will be loaded into RAM. Right? If I want to run Microsoft Word, the Word initially stored in the hard disk, then that will be loaded into RAM before executing. So lamai මේක hard එකේ තමයි දැන් ඕන software එකක් install කරන්නේ hard එකට. මේව hard එකේ ඉඳන් RAM එකට load වෙනවා මේක on කරපු ගමන්. For example, if I just type words and enter, you can see this loading window, right? The speed depends on the computer performance. However, that loading time means the software is going to be loaded from the hard disk to RAM. After that, the things that we're going to type. So, my word open කරලා type කරනවා නම් ඒ හැමදේම RAM එකට තමයි යන්නේ. So the things that we're going to input and things that are going to be output from the software will be again saved in the RAM. So now you know that from the RAM, CPU will read instructions and data. Right? So that is how the computer works. So now you can see that every time that we're gonna open a program, here must be some space to save the data. Right? So when we're gonna run multiple programs, so again we should allow all the other application instructions to be stored here, right? Everything, the data and instructions. Like that, there can be multiple programs running in the computer, and the memory, all the programs which currently running in the computer will access memory and will occupy memory, right? Memory එක පාවිච්චි කරනවා. So but here only one program will execute. නේද? CPU එකෙන් හැබැයි එක වෙලාවට ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන එක program එක. In that case, the operating system, what the operating system do is it will allocate memory locations for the running application. So මෙයාලා චුට්ටක් එහාට මෙහාට කරලා run වෙන application එකට තව save කරගන්න ඉඩ අරන් දෙනවා. Again, if this program is not working now, it will deallocate the memory. එයාව අයින් කරනවා. අයින් කළා මෙයාට idaran dena. So like that, memory is a limited resource. So depending on the program that we're going to run, we have to manage the memory. So that is what operating system memory management do. Operating system memory management it will manage the memory according to the running applications in the computer. Okay. So did you understand or any questions there? But can you explain what memory management is now? Simply allocating and deallocating memory according to the running programs in the computer. Computer programmer run කොට ඉත දාලා memory එක අයින් කරලා තියෙනවා අයින් කරලා ඊට ආරම්භ දෙලා මේ වැඩ කරන එක තමයි කියන්නේ memory management කියලා. Right children, then process management. So process management is also again some kind of a scheduling process. Deallocate process, allocate the process, keep tracks of process and data. Same thing is there, right? So here what process management means. Children, again you know that CPU is the one which is going to process data, and we have RAM. All the data and instructions will be sent to the CPU, and again processed instruction will be sent to the RAM again. So but in multi-programming systems, computers, multi-programming means in our computers we're going to run multiple programs together. So here I'm running Notepad, Zoom, that means the browser, and again here what we call PDF reader. So all these, so multiple programs are running now in my computer, right? So then all these applications, they're going to save their own data and instruction in the RAM, right? So then again, there are some processes that are to be executed at the same time, right? Now, assume that now I am writing here, right? At the same time, I have opened the Notepad. Again, this data, my voice, and again the things which are in the screen, all these things should be sent into your computers through the network. මේවා network එක හරහා ඔයාලා ගාවට එන්නත් ඕනේ. ඊට මම කියන දේවල් ඒවත් ගන්න ඕනේ. මම මේක අඳින දේවල් ඩිටෙක්ට් කරන්නත් ඕනේ. කොහොමද වැඩ ගොඩක් සිද්ධ වෙනවා එක වෙලාවෙ නේද? හැබැයි CPU එක ගොඩක් වෙලාවට එක වෙලාවට කරන්නේ එක වැඩක් විතරයි. මෙයා කරන්නේ එක වැඩයි. එහෙනම් මොකද වෙන්නේ? So what will happen? Every time the CPU do only one task at a time, so this will the operating system decide which process should be there in the CPU. For example, if let's say now I have opened Zoom. Again at the same time, PDF reader and Notepad, right? So now I am writing here, right? So then these all this writing and everything are instructions, right? When I just draw a line here, those are instructions. According to those instructions, this will show me a line here. Line එක මෙතන line එකක් නැහැ නේද මේ තියෙන්නේ? නිකන් lighting වල එකක් effect එකක් නේ මේ තියෙන්නේ. ඒතකොට මම මේක touch කරන විදිහ කියන්නේ මම input කරන දේ අනුව එයා මෙතන line එකක් පෙන්නනවා මෙහෙම. Just a line. So what it's going to do, I am just using my writing pad. In the writing pad, using the pen, I am just going to draw a line. So that line should be displayed here, right? So children, this is processing, right? So when I just touch the mouse in the mouse pad, that process must run here. Okay. So then operating system decide which process should be there in the CPU. Okay, everyone. So every time the process will change, the application will change according to the change of application. For example, if I click here, PDF file, now the PDF reader instructions must be executed in the CPU. If I just take the notepad, then the instructions belong to the notepad should execute here, right? So like that, according to the user activities, the application will be changed. And when the application going to change, what CPU going to process also has to be changed. In that case, operating system is the one which decide which instruction must be executed in the CPU. So that is what we call process management. Process management කියලා කියන උදාහරණයක් ගත්තාම අපිට word එකට කරනවා word කියන CPU ට යවන එක. මම PDF එක ක්ලික් කරොත් ඒකේ instruction CPU ට යවනවා. ඒ වගේ manage කරන්න වෙනවා, right? If you don't get anything, please ask questions. Device management, that means input output devices. Right? They have a hardware device which is called input output controller. That's a microchip. So through using that and communicating with that, this will communicate with different input output hardware like keyboard, mouse, writing pads, printers, scanners, sound devices. So using the same port sometimes, right? Assume that for the same port, we're going to connect a printer, a scanner, again a camera through the USB port. So according to the device that we have connected, operating system must decide how to communicate with them. So that will process using I/O controllers, right? Here again, there's another thing. So now if I just move my mouse pointer, then the PDF will scroll down. Right? So then children, now my mouse point or the mouse I'm using here is bound with the PDF program, right? The PDF එකට තමයි දැන් connect වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා තමයි මෙයා scroll වෙන්නේ. If I just open another program, assume that I'm going to open the browser. Right, I just open a browser and let's say now see, now when I just move in the mouse, the browser will scroll down and scroll up. Again, if I move into the PDF, now the PDF, right? So like that, for example, if I like this, now the browser, now PDF, see? Again, the browser. So like that, operating system do this task. It will allocate the mouse for the browser when the mouse point is there, sorry, for the PDF when the mouse point is there. Again, when I move the mouse pointer to the browser, then it will lock the mouse pointer or the mouse to the browser. So like that, depending on the program which we're going to use, operating system will allocate and deallocate hardware. Not only the input output, right? Memory, hard, input output, and everything. So normally we consider about other hardware because we especially talk about memory and CPU process. That is called as device management. අපි වැඩ කරන ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එකට අනුව අදාළව එයාට ඒක අංගන් ලොක් කරලා දෙනවා. ඒත් දැන් මම මෙතන ඉද්දි මේක ස්ක්‍රෝල් වෙලා බෑ PDF එක නේද? Because I want to scroll the browser here. That process is done by operating system. Right, children, then file management. So file management is just storing files, keeping file locations, deleting, renaming, all these facilities also provided by operating system that is called as file management. Right. So there are some other important activities like security, providing security, firewall, login features, username, adding username password for account, right? Like that. Control of system performance. So it gives us the control panel, control, right? Right, job accounting. So job accounting means so like this, we can keep track of all the activities done by the users, right? Or we can schedule some task. Job accounting means normally this will create a log of activities which are performed by the various users in the system. That is also done by operating system. Error detecting and aids. So if some error happens, it will try to troubleshoot that one, or it will give us a message. For example, if we're going to say copy same file again in the same place, then this will say the file is already there. Do you want to replace? That's error handling, right? So those things also there and done by the operating system. Then coordination between other software and users. So if I open Word, the facilities will allocate Word and the user activities will be performed with Word like that. That coordination also done by operating system. So children, if I ask you anywhere that what are the main activities performed by operating system, then you should be able to answer and explain each. Memory management and what is memory management, then file handling, what is file handling, you should be able to explain, right? So like that, that knowledge must be there with you. Do you have any question regarding the things that we discussed here now? Maybe perform karana task wala අපි කතා කරපුවා මොන හරි වලට ගැටලු තියෙනවද? Right. So we can move forward then. Then there are several types of operating systems which are called batch operating systems. So normally what batch operating system means, there are computers which process task batch wise, right? So what that do normally, if we, for the best example is banking systems. So normally in banking systems, check transactions, right? So now normally when we deposit a check, that will take a day to transfer that into our account. What happened? Assume that these are branches. So the operators in these branches, they will create check deposit request, multiple check deposit requests from here as well, right? මේ හැමෝම බැංකුව වල check deposit කරනවානේ. එතකොට check deposit එක එක බැංකුව වල තියෙනවා නම් මොනවා ගොඩාක් තියෙනවා. දැන් මේ ඔක්කොම මේගොල්ලෝ දානවා. Insert කරනවා. So then what the operating system do? It will take a set of requests and create a batch. මේ request එක ඔක්කොම අරගෙන batch එකක් හදාගන්නවා. Batch එක කියන්නේ group එකක්. Again, it will take another set of instructions and create another batch. So after that, when the CPU is idle, CPU එකට ලොකු වැඩක් නැති වෙලාවට this batch will process. ආයෙ ඒක ඉවරනාට පස්සේ CPU එක idle නම් තියෙන්නේ, second batch will send for processing. So those kind of operating systems we called as batch operating systems because they can process instructions as batch wise. So here the important thing is, in this processing task, when we process කරන වෙලාවට the user interaction is not necessary. User කෙනෙක් මේකට අදාළ අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක ගොඩක් වෙලාවට හැන්දෑ 12න් පස්සේ තමයි check transaction සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ. Machines update වෙන්නේ. So users will input data and instructions and they will save as a batch. After that, later this will perform or execute the instructions. So while the execution process, there will be no user interaction. That's the important thing. When I batch එක මේ instruction දැන් සාමාන්‍ය අපි කරන්නේ දරුවනේ මෙහෙමනේ. මම දැන් මෙතන අඳිනවා නේද? අඳිනකොට ටග් ගාලා එක process වල ඔයාලට පෙන්නනවා. මම මොනවා type කරත් ඔයාලට ඒක පෙන්නනවා. මට ඒක screen එකේ පෙන්නනවා. So that's real time actions. Batch processing is not that like that. We just going to add all the things, input and submit. So processing will be done later. That is batch operating system. That is the task of batch operating systems. The other type is time sharing operating systems. Right. So these are called You can see here. Right. So there are computers which multiple users are connected. Then CPU always work with clock pulse that you know now, right? Normally a clock pulse is billions a time of a normally 5 billions a time of a second. අපරෙන් 5000 එකක් විතර තමයි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් clock pulse එක කියලා කියන්නේ. So these clock pulse will like here. Right. Assume that these are clock pulse. So this time will allocate for one user, and this time for another one, and this time for another user. So like that, when multiple users are connected to a system, in this time sharing operating systems, they are capable of allocating these time intervals for each user. But all the users feel like they are working with the system. But what happens actually here, this will allocate some different times for each user. Right? එතකොට මෙයාගේ හරියට ගරාජ් එකක් වගේ නේද? අපි ගරාජ් එකට වාහනයක් ගිහින් දාම මොකද වෙන්නේ? අපේ වාහනේ චුට්ටක් ගලවනවා. අනිත් වාහනේ චුට්ටක් ගලවනවා. ආය අපේ වාහනේ චුට්ටක් කරනවා. ආය අනිත් වාහනේ චුට්ටක් කරනවා. ආය අපේගේ චුට්ටක්. නැස් තව එකක් තව එකක් ගලවනවා. මෙහෙමනේ යන්නේ time sharing. අපි ඔක්කොම පේන්නේ අපේ වැඩේ කරනවා වගේ නිකන්. බෑතරම් වෙන්නේ time share කරලා හැමෝගෙම වැඩ ටික කරගෙන යන්නේ. So that is called time sharing operating system. CPU time, you can see. Now CPU is working with user 5. In several clock pulse, it will work with user 6. Then it will take user 1's activities. After that, user 2 instructions. Like that, the time of the CPU will be divided and allocate for each user, but all the users feel like their task is now performing. They're also working with the computer because these time intervals are very small. So the human, they will not detect these time sharing activity. එයාලා detect වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද පොඩි interval වලින් තමයි යන්නේ. පොඩ කැඩෙන්නේ. අපිට තේරෙන්නේ එක වෙලාවෙ ඔක්කොම සිද්ධ වෙනවා වගේ. Right. That is time sharing operating systems, right? Right, children. After that, distributed operating systems. Okay. ළමයි ඔයාලට කියපු දේවල් ටික පැහැදිලිද? Time sharing system, then batch system. තේරුණාද ඔයාලට chat එක reply කරන්න? If not, please ask questions. Right, then distributed operating systems. Normally, there are again some operating systems which can work through multiple computers. For example, for a company like Facebook, YouTube, Google, right? Normally, when we gonna work with Facebook, we just see only the Facebook interface, right? So assume that normally we just this work as a one computer. And when we just type Facebook, we will direct to that computer. But actually what happens behind that, there are thousands of computers connected together and they perform as one computer. That is a distributed operating system task. So what happened here, we are going to couple several computers together. And these computers have their own operating systems. They can work individually. Right? After that, we are going to install All right. So then we can install a distributed operating system in all these computers. And by networking them, they will work as one single computer. These are individual computers. They have connected together using network channels. So then these computers will work as a single computer. You can see here, right? Local OS. They have local OS. But distributed system layer will couple all these computers together and appear them as single units. So that is what called distributed operating systems. So using those, we can improve the performance of the activities. If one computer can handle only, let's say, 1,000 instructions per time, then what will happen? If we couple 4 computers together, then they can execute 400 instructions at a time in the same program. Got it? Yes, of course. Who is asking? Sitara or Sitara? Sitara, yes. Most of the applications, these type of applications are used, right? Especially in server systems.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh.
Can I
Okay. Right, Aaron. The other one is network operating systems. So these operating systems are installed in server computers. So what is the specialty of this one is they always allow multiple users to connect with this computer and work. Again, this LMS that we are using, that is also a server. So in this server, we have to install a server operating system, which is network operating system. Then only we can configure that to work simultaneously with multiple users. Server operating systems, because they have the capability of responding to requests of users. So this is different from the operating systems that we are using. Same features are there, but they have a special ability, that is they can simultaneously facilitate multiple users. Those are called network operating systems, which work with computer network and attached computers, right? All right, children. Then last one is real-time operating systems. So real-time operating systems are the ones that we normally react for an instruction or input at the same time. For example, in robots, those real-time operating systems are there. In which we call airplanes, and again, those kind of systems, what they can do when they just detect an input, at the same time it will react. So those are called real-time systems. So here, data processing systems in which the time interval required to process and respond to input is so small. That's the important thing. So in these operating systems, very quickly they can respond to the controls of the environment, the inputs. මෙයාට අපි හිතමු එක සිස්ටම් රොබෝ කෙනෙක්. රොබෝ කෙනෙක් නම් මෙයාට තියෙන කැමරා, මෙයාගේ ආයේ තියෙන පුළුවන් ඇන්ටනා එකක් මේ සවුන්ඩ් ඩිටෙක්ට් කරන්න. ඒතර මෙයාට මේ ඉන්පුට් වලට ඉතා ඉක්මනින් ප්‍රචාර දක්වන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා. They can react to the inputs in a very small time periods. That is why they are called as real-time operating systems. So here, scientific experiments, medical imaging systems, industrial control systems, weapon systems, robots, air traffic control systems, in those ones, these real-time operating systems are there because they have to respond very quickly. Okay, right, children. So these are the type of operating systems: batch operating systems, time sharing systems, then distributed operating systems, network systems, and real-time operating systems. Right, then we're going to discuss about services. So again, the services: program execution, input out operations, file system manipulation, communication, error detection. Those are the normal services that we provide. We're going to discuss each one. So under program execution, what this do is it load the program into the memory from the hard disk, execute the program, process synchronization, process communication, deadlock handling. Right here, process synchronization means in the CPU and the RAM, assume that these are instructions belong to a computer which has to be executed in order. So then instruction A will be, assume that instruction A will be processing here. දැන් මෙතන ඉන්නවා A. එහෙනම් මොකද වෙන්න ඕනේ? මෙයාට අදාළව output තියන්න පුළුවන්. So that output will be saved in the RAM. And at the same time, they must be sent to the output devices as well. Again, in the same time, there can be inputs as well. ඔයාලා හිතන්න දැන් මේ monitor එකේ මේ output එන ගමන්ම if I draw a line here, that is an input, right? Again, that has to be converted into output. So then this instruction may work with instruction B, right? So then what happened? This has to take B here and process. So අගල B වරෙන් process කරන්න. සමහරට output එකයි අදාළ වෙනවා වෙන්න පුළුවන් Aට. So then again take A and do it. So like that there must be a synchronization among the process. ඊළඟට කවුද synchronization කියලා කියන්නේ? මේ දැන් replace කියන්නේ මෙයා මෙතෙන්ට යනකොට හරියට අප්ඩේට් ලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ. synchronization. ඒක කරන්නේ operating system එකේ. මේ හරියට හරිම කෙනා ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් සමහරවිට මෙහෙ තියෙන්න පුළුවන් තව වෙන program වල කට්ටිය. මේ A process වල ඊළඟට මේකක් process වලත් මොකද? වැඩේ කරන්න බැරුව යනවනේ. හරිම කෙනාගේව හරිම තැනට යවන්න ඕන. So that synchronization is done by operating system. Process communication, the same thing, right? So there must be a communication between process. A උරුණාට පස්සේ B, B ට පස්සේ C. එහෙනම් C call කරන්න ඕන D ට. D call කරන්න ඕන E ට. So like that, according to the instructions and data which are processing here, the relevant instruction must be connect and again must be work with the other instructions which are stored in the RAM. So they has to be communicate with each other. That process communication also done by operating system. මේ පැහැදිලි ළමයි මේ කියන දේවල් සරලව තේරුම් ගන්න. එක වෙලා එකකට පස්සේ එකක් විදිහට ඕඩර් එකක් සිද්ධ වෙන්න ඕන නම් ඒ ඕඩර් එක මේන්ටේන් කරනවා සින්ක්‍රොනයිස් කරනවා operating system එකේ. ඊළඟට මේ එකකට පස්සේ අනිත් එක. ඊට පස්සේ කවුද එන්නේ? අපි A ගේ A වැඩ කරන අතරතුර A රික්වෙස්ට් කරනවා C ව. B නැතුව C. මොකද අපි දුන්න ඉන්ස්ට්‍රක්ෂන් එක ඉන්පුට් එකක් අනුව ඊළඟට ඕන වෙන්නේ C. එහෙම වුණොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? There must be a process communication. So that will call for E. So like that, the process communication must be handled. Again, deadlock. Deadlock වෙන්න පුළුවන් කොහොමද? අපි හිතමු මෙහෙම. Assume that there are two people. This one has a paper. Again, there's another one. This person has the pen. Now, I have asked them to write something by someone. මම කියන counter එක නෝ ලියන්න. In that case, this person is not going to give the paper until he receives the pen. මෙයාට පෑන හම්බ වෙනකම් මෙයා කොලේ දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඊළඟට මෙයාට කොලේ හම්බ වෙනකම් මෙයා පෑන දෙන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද වෙන්නේ? ලියනවා කියන වැඩේ කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ. මෙයාට පෑන හම්බ වෙනකම් කොලේ දෙන්නේ නැහැ. මෙයාට කොලේ හම්බ වෙනකම් පෑන දෙන්නේ. So then there's a deadlock there. So operating system has to handle these deadlocks. For example, assume that there's a process here which is called, let's say, there's a process called X. X killer process active. I Y killer process active. X පාවිච්චි කරනවා keyboard එක. ඊළඟ Y ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන්න වෙනවා. So X will stop here and Y will be there in the CPU now. But assume that X is still locking keyboard for the process. Then Y will not be able to use the keyboard. උදාහරණයක් මෙහෙම කියන්නම්කෝ. As I shown you earlier, now I have opened the browser and the this one PDF. So when I move the mouse pointer here, the PDF instructional software must release the mouse and it should allow browser to use it. Again, when I move the mouse pointer here, the browser should deallocate the resource, the mouse, and allow PDF reader to use it. Then I can use it there. So, but if some program is still locking the thing, then this will not smoothly happen. So in that case, there can be deadlocks. So the deadlock handling also be processed by the operating system. ඒ වගේ lock වෙන තැන් ආවහම එකම resource එක දෙන්නේ පාවිච්චි කරන වෙලාවල් වගේ තැන් ආවම මේක කවුද පාවිච්චි කරන්න කියන එක මේක handle කරන්නේ operating system. That is called deadlock handling. Process synchronization කියලා කියන්නේ එක්කෙනෙකුට පස්සේ යන්න ඕනේ ඊළඟ කෙනා කවුද කියලා හරියට decide කරන එක. Process communication කියලා කියන්නේ ඒගොල්ලෝ අතර මේ communication එක කරගන්න එකට. Okay. Input operations, read and write operations within any file or any specific IO device. Access to request required IO device when required. ඒකල කියන්නේ අපි දෙන input එක හරියටම අදාළ software එකට යන්න ඕනේ. If I just write something here, it should goes with the PDF reader. If I open annotate here, again I'm doing same thing, just drawing a line. This should draw a line. So that like that input and output must be handled, right? It's a service. File system manipulation, I explained that earlier. Permissions, read only, write, denied, like that. Read and write files, create, delete files, right? Here, files and directories, right? Directory is a folder. So children, these are directories. So all these are directories, right? So these are files. We can manipulate files. Manipulate means we can delete, rename, copy, paste. So those activities can be performed with files. That also service provided by the operating system. Communication. Process communication is there. So this is done by two methods: shared memory or by message passing. So that means if two processes are located in same memory, එකම කියන්නේ දැන් මේ වගේ මොකක් හරි instruction data එකක් තියෙනවා, programs දෙකක් තියෙනවා. මේ data එක programs දෙකකින් access කරනවා using the shared memory. Other thing is message passing. So this can send a control message to this one. That is also one method which is used to communicate between process. Right? Error handling I explained earlier. Again, for example, if I just create a folder And if I rename it as a like this, sorry. See, when I just enter this mark, they are saying that file name cannot contain any of the following instructions. It's error, right? I'm going to give a star mark here for the file name. It gives me an error message. That is called error handling. Again, now I'm going to erase all the file name characters. And if I press here, this will again rearrange to the previous file, rename the previous name. See? So those are called simple error handling. අපි අතින් වෙන errors ආවම ඒවා handle කරගන්න. Resource management. We discussed this earlier. Utilization of CPU, memory. යාමේ resource ටික manage කරලා දෙනවා. Input, output, vertical. Those are services actually. Actually, we discuss them as tasks, but ultimately, those activities or those tasks become services of operating system. Protection also we discuss. After that, operating system properties. So children, we discussed earlier operating system types. In operating system types, we discussed batch processing operating system. Now, actually batch processing is a property of operating system. ඒකල කියන්නේ අපි දැන් batch processing operating systems තියෙනවා. ඒ මොනවද කියලා අපි කතා කරා. ඒ batch processing කියන වැඩේ operating system එකෙන් කරන එයාට කරන්න පුළුවන් වැඩ. එයාගේ property එක. So as I explained earlier, same thing is again here, but you must understand that the type of operating systems, batch processing operating systems are there. It's a type. In that batch processing operating system, the actual task it performing is batch processing. Here we can discuss what is batch processing. Same activity, right? See, there can be multiple jobs. Again, those will be converted into batch, and when the CPU is idle, that will run here. That will execute. Then children, multitasking. So multitasking is again a property of operating system. This multitasking can be achieved in time sharing operating systems and multi-programming operating system. A type of operating systems වලට මේ multitasking කියන property එක තියෙනවා time sharing වල. Right? So here what multitasking means, this operating system can run multiple programs at a time. So if it is a time sharing operating system, it will divide time intervals into each program. Right? It will allocate different time intervals for each program and allow them to execute at the same time. There is a program that is loaded into memory and is executing is commonly referred as process. CPU එකේ තියෙන ප්‍රමාණකර program එකට අපි කියනවා process එකක් කියලා. When a process executes, very short time before it either finish or need to perform input operations. So මේගොල්ලෝ සාමාන්‍ය process එකක් run වෙද්දී ටික වෙලාවකට තමයි යා run වෙන්නේ until it require another data or a input. කිව්වේ තේරුණාද? දැන් මම මේක highlight කරා. When I am highlighting this will run as a process. Highlighting is one process, but it will remain only for very short time period. I'm just click here, then process starts. Now I am moving my mouse pointer. So when I just stop here, now the process is over. Again, if I move the mouse pointer, it detects an input and process that. Now it's over again. So like that, every time all the process will run in the CPU for very single short time, right? Here, if I just copy here, stops. Then you have input tag then nothing is up. Now it's waiting for an input. Again, if I move the mouse pointer, it's an input. And this will process accordingly, right? So in time sharing systems, it will share the CPU time. Sorry, in multitasking operating systems, it will use this time sharing operating system features to perform multiple tasks at a time. එක වෙලාවකට task ගොඩක් කරනවා වගේ අපිට පෙන්වන්න. මම කලින් explain කරා මේ ටික. දැන් මම එක වෙලාවේ mouse එක පාවිච්චි කරනවා, ඊට පස්සේ PDF පාවිච්චි කරනවා, Zoom එකේ annotation පාවිච්චි කරනවා. ඒ අතර මේක ඔයාලට send වෙනවා මේක through. හරිද? So during this period, CPU can utilize by another program. Program එකට මේ time අර waiting times වලදී allocate කරනවා. So that is called multitasking operating systems. Right. Next one is multi-programming. So multi-programming is also somewhat similar. Children now understand it like this. In the memory, assume that there are 4 programs enabled. 3, let's say 3. හිතන්න දැන් මම programs 3ක් run කරනවා. One is PDF. So there can be multiple instructions. P1, P2, P3 like that. Then Zoom, Z1, Z2, Z3 like that. There are multiple instructions there in the same program. Ekam program එක උනාට instructions ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. මේක P program. Z program. Again, I am running Notepad. So N1, N2, N3, these things are there. N3, N4 like that. There can be multiple instructions for one program. Into my program, right? So if we divide the CPU time intervals like here, මේ තියෙන clock CPU එකේ time එක හරිද? අර clock pulse එක. මේ CPU එක එයාගේ critical time එක run වෙනවා. The time clock pulse always there's a clock pulse times when time starts. So then CPU will execute P1, then Z1, N1. After that P2, Z2, N. Assume that there is another program. Xkiller program method I task it. Why task the guy home with now children, if I just open, suddenly I open X, this will run X here. Again, if I just run P again, P3, next process of P. Then if I just open the notepad, then N2. So like that, this will execute multiple programs in different times, but it will share the memory. So share the CPU. CPU will share කරගන්නවා. This is called multi-programming. Right. In time sharing systems, here multi-programming is here multitasking, right? In multitasking systems, what happens? If it is multitasking, it uses time sharing. This is CPU time. This will execute P when when I'm running P, right? After that Z for several time intervals. Again, if I want to run P, then P, then N, X. Like that, this will share the time according to the priorities. මෙයාලගේ අවශ්‍යතාවයන් අපිට ක්ලික් කරන විදිහට මෙයා time එක තමයි share කරන්නේ. So that is called as multitasking. But all these two properties, however, they will allow us to use multiple programs at a time. එක වෙලාවේ programs ගොඩාක් run කරන්න අවස්ථාව දෙනවා මෙන්න මේ කියන ක්‍රම දෙකටම ගත්තා. So multi-threading, multi-programming, multitasking, like that, the same activity that users are doing. Users are working with multiple programs, multiple softwares at a time. But inside the CPU, in the operating system, we'll use several methods depending on the requirement or depending on the configurations to perform multiple activities at a time, right? So this is a property of a operating system. It can perform multiple tasks at a time. Again, it can perform multiple programs at a time. So the difference is here, understand like this, multitasking. So in Zoom, now I am using Zoom and annotation, right? So now I am just drawing a line. So this is multitasking. Why? At the same time, Zoom has to detect my screen, capture my screen, and send that through the communication channel, network channel to yourselves. Again, at the same time, Zoom detecting what I am doing with my mouse pointer. I'm drawing a line. So that task also has to be performed. So that is called multitasking. Right? Again, my voice, right? It has to detect my voice as well, not only the screen. So when I am drawing this line, this time, consider this time, right? This particular time, Zoom is detecting my voice, and again it is capturing my screen, and again it detects my mouse movements, mouse pointer movements, and draw the line. So like that, it performs 3 tasks, and again further, it will send all these activities, all this data through my network channel to you. Then at the same time, it is performing 4 tasks. Multitasking. Multi-programming. See children, I have opened now multiple programs here, right? Zoom is running, annotation is running, PDF read is there, Windows Explorer is open, browser, 3 browsers are open, actually 4, Notepad is open. So like that, I am running multiple programs. Multi-programming systems, right? So all these 2 things are features or properties of operating system. Multi-programming, multitasking, I think it's clear to you. Interactivity means user interfaces, providing user interfaces and detect inputs, like keyboard, monitor inputs. Then children, there are 2 interfaces methods. One is a GUI, graphical user interface. In graphical user interface, we have menus, windows, icons, mouse pointer, you can use the mouse. And these are somewhat user friendly, but this will consume more processing. Graphical interface processing on it. So in that case, this will use more processing, but this is somewhat more user friendly, right? Because all these things are shown in graphical ways. This is called CLI, command line interface. Only text can be used. We have to memorize the commands and input them, and then only the relevant task is performed. So in the activities that high processing is necessary, this is the most appropriate interface type, because this will not consume CPU for graphic processing. In this one, the CPU has to work, perform these graphic activities, and again show us the interface. The interface එක පෙන්වන්න CPU එකට ගොඩක් මහන්සි වෙනවා. In that case, the amount of processor skills, processor is less for the other programs, right? In here, this is not occupying the processor much, so it is just showing only the text and a black window. So the things that processor has to perform for the interface is very less. Then it can allocate more processing for the other activities. So then very complex tasks in servers, so those kind of activities which high processing is necessary, this is the interface most administrators are using. Processing වැඩිපුර අපේ task එකට ඕන අවස්ථාවල් තියෙනවා නම් ඒ වගේ වෙලාවට මේක තමයි වැඩිපුර ගැලපෙන interface type එක. සාමාන්‍ය daily use වලට, normal daily use activities, we are using this graphical user interface. Okay, right everyone, then so there are some terms. Process. So process is an instruction which is executing inside the CPU, is called as a process. A program is a collection of instructions. The program කියලා කියන්නේ මේ instructions වල collection. Again children, a software is a collection of programs. For example, if I am using edit text, so this is one program. When I click this, I can edit text. So now edit text program is running, but the edit text program is there in the PDF reader software. So that's the main software. So editing text is only one single program which is inside that complex software. So all these are simple individual programs: highlighting, take snapshots, attaching, simple programs. Again, in one program you can see there are multiple instructions. So in our programming lecture, we are developing programs. So all these programs, they have multiple instructions, right? So this one instruction is called as a process. So every time the CPU take one instruction and process that, like. Okay. Then children, there is another thing when you must know when you're going to learn process management in operating system. This is called process cycle. Here what happened? Okay. ළමයි process management කියලා අපි වැඩ කතා කරා. ඒකෙදි වෙන දේ තමයි අත්‍තරම we have to start a process first. Right. So normally assume that I am going to open Microsoft Word. So when I just click or double click here, start. If I just click here, I'm going to open Word. That will create a process, right? It's a start of a process. Again, simply, if I just click here, I'm going to draw something, right? So when I just click here, that will start the annotation process. So we call that is the start of the process. Process X start panel. After that, it should ready. Ready means if I use annotation here, that will lock, that must lock my mouse pointer with the process. Then my Word open කරලා type කරන්න ගියොත් එතකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? So then computer has to lock keyboard and mouse for that program. Again memory එක ඉඩ දෙන්නත් ඕනේ. ඊට පස්සේ අනිත් ඒවා lock කරගන්නත් ඕනේ. Like that has to be ready. Now ready වෙන්න ඕනේ. Second step. After that this can run. දැන් මෙයා run වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So here CPU එයා run වෙන්නේ CPU එක තුළ inside the CPU. In the ready state this will be in the RAM. RAM එකේ තමයි ඉන්නේ. Again while it is running, so for example I am going to again draw a line, right? So now what happens when I just touch the mouse pad, the annotation process have locked my mouse pointer and now it is in ready state. I'm not using the I'm not still moving the mouse, right? Now it's in the ready state. When I am moving the mouse pointer, now the process is in the running state. Again I'm going to stop. Now it is in the ready state. Then in ready state again. My input at the nothing. Again I am drawing. Now in the running state. See, now you can see the process is swapping between running state and ready state according to the user input. User input එක අනුව මෙයා දැන් මේ state එකට මාරුවේ තියෙනවා. Now I am going to temporarily close this one and open Notepad. See, now I am typing in the Notepad. Now what happened? When I just open Notepad, another process is started. Now process that start. Now that process is in the ready state because I am not typing now. Now in the ready state again. Then you know now the Notepad is in the ready state. That annotation process now where it is? It is in the waiting stage. Then you are in a waiting annotation. It's in waiting stage because I am using another program now. Now the Notepad is running here and it again sub between ready and running. Now it is in the ready state. When I am just typing again, now it is in the running stage. So I have stopped typing, now it is in the ready stage. That annotation is now in waiting stage. Again, I am going to use annotation. I'm going to draw. Now it is in ready state. From the waiting state, it just shifts to the ready state. Now the Notepad, what happened to Notepad? Now the Notepad is in waiting stage. When I'm drawing, this is in the running stage. Waiting, running, waiting, again running, waiting, like that. Like here. එහෙනම් මොකද වෙන්නේ? Running තියෙන program එකක් the program which is running can be shift into waiting stage according to user interrupt or program software interrupt. On Notepad එක ගත්ත ගමන් මොකද වෙන්නේ? It's a user interrupt. See, user interruption එකක් අනුව මේක waiting යන්නත් පුළුවන් running යන්නත් පුළුවන්. Sorry, ready යන්නත් පුළුවන් waiting යන්නත් පුළුවන්. So if another program is running, this will go to wait. The previous one will go to wait. Then only again if we just reopen the program, it will go to the ready stage and go to running stage. After when I finish this one, I'm going to clear everything and close this one. When I close this, it will terminate, the process will terminate it and that will finish. Save the result. This is how the process status are varying. මේ process වල වෙන්නේ මේගොල්ලෝ එකින් එකට මාරු වෙවි තමයි execute වෙන්නේ. start වෙනවා ready වෙනවා running වලට යනවා ආයෙ ready වෙනවා running වලට යනවා ready වෙනවා වෙන එකක් open කරපුවම waiting වලට යනවා. ඒ අපි open කරපු program එක ready running වෙවි තියෙනවා. මෙහෙම තමයි මෙයා වැඩ කරන්නේ. Right? This is what called as process life cycle or process stage cycle. So this cycle will maintain by the operating system. OS එකෙන් තමයි මේවා maintain කරගෙන යන්නේ. So all these are explained here. Priya, no. Priya is asking the question that I have given in the assignment, prepare a descriptive figure which explains the background process in the computer. No, this is not the answer. So we have explained initially the softwares are in the hard disk, and when we just open a program, these softwares has to be copied to the RAM, and from the RAM they will execute each instruction one by one. That must be the answer, right? Right, children. Then OS memory management. Now under OS memory management, what operating system do is normally the main memory, the capacity of the main memory is not a large one, right? It's a small amount. So what operating system do here in the CPU, and RAM is here. And again, the hard disk is there, and it will occupy a small portion of the hard disk as the swapping area. This is called swapping area. Small portion of the hard disk. Then what the operating system do is it will create a virtual memory. Virtual memory by occupying the full capacity of RAM and this swapping area. Virtual memory. So then CPU will see this one as the memory of the computer. So it's a virtual memory created by the operating system. The full capacity of RAM is there, and again a small portion of hard disk also there. So assume that now there are multiple programs. Assume that there are two programs here. A1, A2, A3, A4, sorry. C1 and C2. Now the RAM is full. RAM capacity is full. Right. Again, let's say that A1 or the program A is now working or executing the CPU. Now, children, I'm going to run another program which is called B. So when I just execute the program, again the data must be loaded into RAM. RAM make a load on here. Now there is no space in the RAM. So then what will happen? This will send C1 and C2. Because A is the program now running in the CPU. This will send C1 and C2 into the swapping area and clear the memory here. After that, we can have B1, B2 like that, the instructions of B in the memory, and now we can execute B here. Now B execute කරන්න B තමයි run කරන්න. යාට ඉඩ ඕන නිසා C swapping area එකට දැම්මා. හැබැයි these were initially in here. Virtual memory එකේ මෙලා තියන් ඉන්න ඕනේ. This will not change. කලින් මෙයා point කරන් හිටියේ මෙතෙන්ට. Now the pointer will change to this place. And B also here, and now B will point here. And B point කරන් ඉන්නවා මෙතෙන්ට. C point කරන් ඉන්නවා මෙතෙන්ට. A point කරන් ඉන්නවා මෙතෙන්ට. දැන් B execute වෙන හැම කොතනද මෙතනද? හිතන්න ආයෙත් ඕන A වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. Assume that now A is running. So it will take A from here. I B ඕන වෙනවා. So B will taken from here. මෙයා මෙතන point එකට රට ගාලා වෙනස් කරලා ගන්න. Now after that I am going to run C again. C program run. When I just try to access C, CPU is going to access C from here. But C is not there in the RAM, right? So CPU will not take any instruction from the hard disk. It will communicate only with RAM. Now what will happen? Then some data from this one will be sent here. Or B වගේ එකක් මෙතෙන්ට යවලා C අර ගන්නවා මෙතෙන්ට. Again at the same time these pointers will change. Pointers will change කර ගන්නවා. Now C will point here, B will point here. Then C will be inside the CPU. So the CPU doesn't know the changes behind or the sapping process behind the RAM and the this one CPU. I mean the hard disk. When we sapping process එක මෙයාට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. CPU එක දන්නේ නැහැ. එයා හිතන් ඉන්නේ C මෙතනමයි තිබුණේ කියලා. හැබැයි අර ඉඩමදිකම නිසා some instructions and data will be swapped between hard disk and the RAM. So this is what called virtual memory. So the virtual memory is created using a part of the hard disk and the RAM. So CPU will always communicate through this virtual memory. So CPU will not get to know that some programs has been stored in the hard disk. So CPU එක දන්නේ නැහැ මේ සමහර program hard disk එකේ තියෙනවා කියලා. මොකද එතනින් එහාට තමයි මේ link එක ටක් ගාලා point කරගෙන මාරු කරගෙන වැඩේ කරගෙන යන්නේ. This is called sapping. පැහැදිලිද කියප එක? virtual memory එකක් ඒ ඇත්තට තියෙන එකක් නෙවෙයි. හදලා දෙන්න operating system එකෙන් RAM එකේ තියෙන ඔක්කොම දේවල් ටික සහ දැන් run වෙන process ඔක්කොම ටික මෙයා ගාව තියාගන්න. තියාගෙන RAM එකේ ඉඩ මදි වෙනකොට අපි දැනට use කරපු නැති program එකක් චුට්ටක් hard disk එකට යවලා RAM එකෙන් ඉඩ අරන් දෙන්න. ඒ අතරේ මෙන්න මෙතන point කරගෙන මෙතන මාරු කරගන්න. ඒතර CPU එක දන්නේ නැහැ එහෙම වෙනසක් වුණා කියන්නේ. ආයෙ ඕන වුණාම මෙතන තියෙන කෙනෙක් යවලා මෙතන අනිත් කෙනෙක් ගන්නවා. point එක මාරු කරගන්න. So this changing the pointer according to the location is called paging. And paging here. Pointers and sapping and paging. So this is virtual memory. Children, is it clear? Right then, swapping, we discussed that. Fragmentation. So fragmentation is also important in memory management. So when in the memory, when you're going to store data, assume that this is the memory. Now there is a data, let's say data is here. එක data එකක් instruction එකක් මෙච්චරක් ප්‍රමාණය occupy කරනවා. One data is stored in the RAM. Again there is a data, let's say something like here. The next data is like this. 1 2 3 4 5. It has 5, it has to allocate 5 locations for that. So 1 2 3 4 5. This area also will be occupied there. Again the next one, let's say like this, so that will be saved here. Then that will stored here. Again ඊළඟට එනවා ආයි 6ක් තියෙන එක. නැත්නම් 3ක් 4ක් තියෙන එක. දැන් ආයෙක මෙතන save වෙනවා. So what will happen now? These locations will remain empty. Like here. Like this. These are empty locations. Those empty locations will be created because of this size of each instruction. Different sizes of instruction. Save karayada me wage time RAM එක ඉතුරු වෙනවා. So then what will happen? The capacity of memory will be full, but still the space is there. ආම්මයාගේ space ඉතුරුලා තියෙන හැබැයි full පෙන්නන්න. Because the large instructions cannot be saved there. So that is called fragmentation. Therefore, the operating system will defragment these memory spaces and rearrange the memory, and again after that it will free the additional space on the location of the RAM. මේවා එකලකට කරලා අරගෙන මේ additional spaces එකතු කරගන්න. Then we can have more memory there in the RAM. This is called fragmentation and defragmentation. සාමාන්‍ය පොත් මේසයක් කියලා හිතන්නකො. ඔයාලා මේසෙක වැඩ කරනකොට ඒවා හැම මේ හැමතැනම තියෙනවා, බඩු තියෙනවා, පොත් තියෙනවා, ඔක්කොම තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ ආයෙ දෙයක් තියන්න ඉඩ නැහැ. හැබැයි මේක පිළිවෙලට අස් කරොත් ආයෙත් සෑහෙන ඉඩක් හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් නේද? Somewhat similar to that. Then input output handling. Okay, children. See, each device or input output device, there is a controller. In USB ports, there is a microchip USB control, keyboard control like that. So these are hardware, and to work with these controllers, a separate driver must be installed to the computer. Okay, right everyone. So those are called as device drivers. Earlier time in early operating systems, when we're going to connect a device like printer, keyboard, and sound devices, we have to install drivers separately. But in the newest operating systems, all these drivers come with the operating system, attached, embedded to the operating system, and we don't have to reinstall them again. So if we're going to use a keyboard or a mouse, printer, so that driver is connected or driver is embedded to the operating system, and you don't have to reinstall or separate install the driver software එක OS app එකම එනවා අලුත් OS වල ඒ නිසා install කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. But you can see here see this is the list of all hardware in the computer, and there is a driver for each hardware. This is the driver, firmware, and monitor. These are drivers. See, printer drivers, separate printer drivers are there. So each of these hardware is depend on a separate software tool which allow these hardware to communicate with each other, right? So those separate softwares are called as drivers, and from here we can manage all the drivers. For example, if I take sound, this is the sound driver. I can update the driver means the software, or disable it. Like that I can customize the drivers. So for example, in earlier computers, when you just plug a pen drive, it may take 1 to 3 minutes to configure the drivers for the pen drive. Now all the pen drive drivers comes with the operating system. Then when you just click or plug one USB to the pen drive to the computer, that will automatically detect. But earlier, that was not there, right? So those are called as drivers. Right, everyone. So those are things that we will discuss about operating system. So do you have any questions regarding the thing that we discussed today? We are not going to go deep into the operating system subject. So these are the basic ones. So is everything clear? Okay, you can go through the note several times, and again I'll upload the video as well. So if you have questions, you can raise next time, right? Okay, everyone. So we're gonna start a new interesting lesson next day. Again, thank you for reminding. Wednesday we are going to have the mid examination. For the mid examination, the questions will be prepared from. Let me tell you. Right, number system and conversion, arithmetic in number systems, binary logical operations, address and adders and subtractors, then data representation, and computer hardware. From those subjects, only the questions will be created. Questions will be given, right? Up to computer hardware. And again, in the programming one, up to functions. Questions will be created up to functions, and there will be only a MCQ paper. MCQ paper, right? You have to answer that online. 1 hour MCQ papers with 40 questions. Right, everyone. So we'll wind up from here. If you don't have any questions, I can stop now. Okay, everybody. So have a nice evening. Goodbye. Don't stop.
Thank you, sir.